So when did you buy Blue Ribbon? You worked there. You were in there all the time.
Yeah, 2004, November of 2004. I graduated from University of Minnesota May of that year. He promised me maybe buying it for quite a while. I was going to go to grad school, and he finally goes like, "Hey, let's do this deal."
Yeah.
Because he knew I was going to be on to more school. Because I was like hot and heavy into school at that point. And yeah, I worked there. I don't know how many years before that. I'm 39 now. 16 was my first guide trip. My 14th birthday, I started working there. I was hanging out in there from 11 to 14. A guy named Troy Driscoll hired me on my 14th birthday with my mom's permission. She dropped me off for the first time in tears, and then I've been around the place ever since. I mean, I grew up without a dad, so it's like it's really special to me to talk about it because I had like a collection of father figures that were all great fishermen that were there and that took care of me. Like, wow, and his mom's working 2 jobs and she's busting her ass to take care of this kid, and I was living with her and my grandma, and these guys were just so like, they wanted to adopt me in the culture, and I was so obsessed with fishing. It was always my out. It was my way to have, it was kind of my compass in life, you know. The reason they even wanted to hire me is because I biked in there daily, like a few miles. I was constantly biking in. Yeah, that's what it was. They're like, "Hey, can you work here?" I was 13.
There he is.
If his mom's not working, she'll drive him up here. But
didn't she used to drive you down to the lake?
Yeah. And drop me off, or
drop you off and pick you up,
exactly,
with your bike or whatever.
Yep, she would work 3rd shift, so she would get off work in the morning, working at the Gillette company in St. Paul, and then she would drop me off after work, and then she'd get her 8 hours of sleep, and I'd fish, and then she'd try and pick us up 3, 4 o'clock, and we would be mad because we didn't have the evening bite. So it'd end up being like packing the lunch. We'd have to fish all the way till dark, you know. So it'd be like this cycle, especially when I was out of school in the summer. But if it was during school, it'd be as soon as we're out of school, we'd go fishing, and yeah, it was just kind of the way of life, you know. That's all we really knew. And it was
no sports or nothing, just fish.
No, I played baseball, yeah, and some football, and did stuff. But it was, you know, as it got older, it just came glommed onto fishing. You know, it was a thing. With those impressionable years, you know, the teenage years is when it was key. That 14, 15, 16, 17, what am I doing? You know, what's going on? Especially growing up without a father, and I'm an only child, so it was kind of like, there was a lot. My mom worked so much. I was kind of just free to do she was so great. She allowed me to follow my passion, and she knew that I had something with fishing, and it was like beyond an addiction. It was just like carrying a fishing book around at school when you should be doing your homework. You know, like you're barely getting through some of your classes because you're studying a guy named Buck Perry who discovered, he's a spoon plugger who discovered they call him the father of structure fishing, and he was a rocket scientist that turned his life into fishing because he was so obsessed like I was, and then coupled with Blue Ribbon Bait and Tackle, the Grizz, and a few other guys that took me under their wing and just brought me out fishing and showed me the ropes so fast, so quick, and just me idolizing the owner of Blue Ribbon and the other guys that were there, and all that together just made like this sandwich of like me just being entrenched in the fishing industry from day one when I could really think. You know, I was like, I didn't have a boat and stuff. My mom used to drop me off and with the little boat that I had, and put a 5-horse Mariner in the back trunk of her car, and we had stashed a John boat in the weeds at local lakes, and she'd let us go. I mean, that was a different time. I don't think I'd do that with my kids now.
No, hell no.
This is before, you know, it just was a different world it seemed like we lived in, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, though, that's for sure. I mean, all the people that I've met and people I've been around, and I look back on it all, and I feel so lucky that I want to help other people feel the way I felt then. Like, find people that are in that, like, trying to figure out their life. How can I be that person who comes in and adopts them in the fishing industry and helps them find a great natural way to be happy and enjoy God's gift, which is Mother Nature and the fish that are on this planet, and all these great memories I've had all over these years. If I can share even part of what I've had, then it means even more. You know, I can evolve and give it back. Because I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything. If you guys knew how many muskies I had, at my disposal at such a young age that were like sneaking through back ponds that were connected to Lake Elmo and all this stuff. It's just insane when I think about it. I mean, when you go back, it's like not even believable the amount of fish that we had right there just by constantly riding your bike with a tackle box strapped to the front of it and your fishing pole and exploring every body of water you can find. Any pond, anything you can find. And a lot of them, a lot of times, would have fish in them, and nobody even fish. We were like the pioneers for finding giant crappies in this pond, or this place is full of big bass, or in our case, Tartan Park is full of all these big muskies that are swimming down a stream from Lake Elmo that's being stocked, and there's all these fish here. And us kids are showing up and catching all these fish. And you're going, wow, you got a pond full of tiger muskies and you're 14 years old and you're getting a half a dozen muskies a day that are 8 to 13 pounds. And we're like, isn't this normal? This is like, now I look back going, man, I would love to go back to that pond and not have all these boats cruising this way and that way. And of course, everything changes with time, but it's like a little piece of heaven you're almost living as a kid. It was pretty sweet.
You know what you had. Like gold.
I really didn't, It was just like, wow, this is what it is out here. And then later you realize, wow, we really had a special gig going. I mean, this is how things have changed, and I wish kids now could just see what we had. They wouldn't be involved with their phones and having to do this because it was so exciting. You would be like obsessed with it. Is that tiger muskie going to be there at 8 in the morning when I ride on my bike and there's no one around? It's all absolutely silent. And here you have a lure you can cast out and catch a tiger muskie. I mean, it really was like why I'm doing what I'm doing now and why I'm going to do this my whole life is because of those early impressionable years. It was so special. It's like it became such a way of life. You don't even think about doing anything else with the time you have on this planet because it's such a special thing to do.
How old is the kid you're taking out, the orphan?
Oh yeah, this week.
This is like his impressionable years coming up.
I have an opportunity to kind of what I was alluding to. Yeah, I got a chance to take out a 14-year-old kid this week on Twin Cities Live, Channel 5 News, or Channel 5 TV show. It's on, I think, at 4 o'clock. They contacted me this week to just take out a kid that is really into fishing, and he's looking for adoptive parents and kind of looking for a role model or whatever I can do for him, and they thought of me, and I'm going, this is right up my alley. Thank you, Lord. I mean, this is because it just is like this is a perfect age, perfect thing, and I don't want to put too much pressure on it because I don't know what the kid's going to be like or what's going to happen. But if I can even plant some seeds of him liking fishing, and maybe he'll in his bad times.
To go with you, I mean.
Yeah.
That ain't nothing.
And it was like it's to me like even on my troubled years, because I paint a picture. It's like okay, all Josh is there was a whole bunch of troubled years, growing up without a dad, and other friends did. And there's all kinds of things that made me frustrated, but fishing was always my safety net. Whenever things got rough, I didn't like just go hide in a closet. I would go to the lake or go to the river and just be one with Mother Nature, and all of a sudden you're like feeling so good. You're feeling, I got this. So it can never get, whenever it got so bad, you can always just go take your rod and reel, get on your bike or get in your car if you have your driver's license and go fish it out and feel good about yourself. And that's really what even so much more is involved with it, Form of therapy, the tranquility. I mean, you could go on and on and on writing about it and thinking about it, but what it does for you mentally, you guys don't know. I'm at a table of people who love to fish. I mean, how do you explain it in words? How great fishing is. I mean,
it's just something you need to do. You need to do it. You got to just get it out of your system and be out there and do it.
We'll live longer because of it, because you don't harbor in all the stress and this, especially our country where we live. It's just like go. It's like just chop at the bit to run the guy over to get to where you got to go, and it's so competitive. And it's like just slow it down, man. Go out here and appreciate the birds, the trees, the fish, the water, all these little things you hear and experience while you fish. I mean, it's so pure.
That guy telling you the other day about how he thought it was cool what we do.
You guys all got full-time jobs or whatever stuff, but you guys still find time for your passion and go out. And
everybody gets so entrenched in their daily job that that's all they know, and they just can't get out of that.
Yep.
And it's
he would just
go out and fish.
It's awesome.
That's
you
cool.
guys still have a passion. Jealous that we still have such a love.
Well, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack went fishing. Jack, thank you, Lord. I get to go fishing.
That's awesome.
Well, you think of all the cool things too. You get to see when you're out fishing, like you were saying. You know, I mean,
those bald eagles coming down for a sheephead. If you throw a sheephead that died over the side of the boat, and you got a bald eagle coming within 20 yards of your boat, right in front of you, and you can tell your clients, hey, watch this. I'm gonna throw this fish out here we just caught. Yeah. And a bald eagle will literally be watching you all day and come down. It can be dead silence. You're right in Washington County, and here comes this bald eagle. Breathtaking moment in time where you see this thing come down right in front of you. You grab this fish and take it up to its nest, feed its babies, or just have it in its nest. I mean, what can you do to top that live coverage right now of a bald eagle coming down because you're there fishing all the time? You know where the bird lives. You throw something out there, have it come down. I mean, there's photographs of things, but to experience it, to watch this and come down and sweep over you, and the bird's almost used to you being there because you're guiding there all the time and you're there regularly and you know how to be silent. I mean, that some of those bald eagle moments alone, that, like you said, it's more than just even the fish. It's
stuff you get to yellow with a beak. It's actually
it's like, oh man, this no wonder why you're the bird that represents our country of freedom. You know, it's like This is wild.
Yeah, you can't make that stuff up. I mean, you can tell people about stuff that happens, but being there, actually seeing it.
Exactly.
Same thing with being in a deer stand or whatever. You know, being out there fishing. You know, it's the same thing. The stuff you see, you just can't. You can tell people about it, but it just doesn't do it justice.
Well, for me, it's evolved now to the expressions on people's faces when they first catch their first muskie. Now it's like when I look back at the year, this last year, and all the muskies we caught and all the things that happened. It was the 12-year-old boy who caught his first muskie that was 45 inches. It was things that happened where the guy's like shaking so bad he catches a muskie with me on Mille Lacs, and he's an experienced angler, but his shakes are so dramatic that he's trying to hold this 53-inch muskie, and he's just like, it's almost like it takes an adult man and makes him a little boy again because he's holding this creature in his hand and he's trying to get this fish, hold it for the photo while I'm hollering, come on, we got to get it back in the water. And
yeah, that's the thing that kills me too is you know the guy can probably hold 40 pounds up or 45 pounds of whatever the fish weighs.
Yeah.
But to have that fish in his hands at that moment in time after the fish crushing the boat side or whatever, seeing the fish in the water and fighting and all that, and like not having the strength in your arms to like hold on to the thing even like you should, it's just like that endorphin rush.
Oh, it's it's just, and they only fantasize about it. They see it at these shows and they see pictures and hear about how great it might be to get a 45-pound muskie, and now he's got it in his hands, and it's like it brings an adult man to his knees. He's just like, oh my gosh, I can't even stand up right now because this thing is so out of control. It's like those are the moments now. I've experienced them, and now when you get to see other people experience them, then you feel like you're providing great memories to people. You're planting seeds, especially in the kids, and that to me is what in my process is like I get way more out of you guys catching a fish in my boat than I do catching fish. I love catching fish, but when now I get to influence people doing it as a guide, I mean, that's like the neatest thing possible. That is such a gift of a job. It's just like, wow, I get to be out. This is my office, like doing this, being out there. And
that is the coolest thing too. If you have somebody in the boat that's never been muskie fishing before and never caught a fish before, or never caught a muskie before, especially, and they get their first fish, it's like, you can't feel better about yourself.
Yeah, he's been with me and helps me guide for himself. So he's been a part of a lot of them, even those guys from out of state.
Those guys from Arkansas this summer, none of them had caught a muskie.
None of them have caught a muskie. We got all of our boats caught them, and then we had what do we have on the lake? It was on Bald Eagle. We had a sailboat race. We had a bass tournament. We had about the worst conditions you can think of possible. Dead calm, hot, not even any breeze.
Flying by.
Yeah, what a neat deal though it all is, just to be a part of it and stuff.
Cutting off Travis.
All you can do is just be thankful. For me, that's what I've come down to. He says you got to make millions of dollars to be happy in life. You can just learn to love fishing.
Oh yeah, that's
true that
too.
Amen.
Yes.